My first moment of filming is at Silverstone, race weekend, in front of 120,000 fans. And we had to prove to F1 that we could slot ourselves into the race weekend because it is military precision, it is to the minute. And so we had a 20-minute slot where we could go out on quali day in front of the fans and film ourselves.
Brad Pitt is the perfect actor to portray Sonny Hayes because he is one of the most humble, giving actors I've ever had the experience of working with. He's charming, he's talented, he's unpredictable, like Sonny. And he's the ultimate collaborator. And he just wants you to win. And just the dynamic between the two of us has been so amazing for me personally because, you know, he sees me as next up and he's supporting that, you know, and he's giving me ideas and he's giving me pointers and he's encouraging me, he's congratulating me. And I think that's a dynamic that's building amongst Joshua and Sonny too. So the relationship is really organic and it's really authentic. The chemistry is just seamless. Working with Brad Pitt is easy.
Working along Brad, he's so natural. That was something that I really found when I was in the scenes with him. He's just so natural. It's crazy. Sometimes it's I feel like it's it's hard to tell when he's acting. It just seems so natural and very in the moment. He's a very in the moment actor, and I'm very in the moment actor, and that's so much fun.
Rather than having a stunt driver actually controlling the cars, in this film, Brad and Damson are driving the cars by themselves. These are not special effects rigs. These aren't movie cars that are made to look like real race cars. These are race cars from the start that we developed, working hand in hand with AMG Mercedes, their designers and engineers, to build a race car specifically for making this movie.
I never in a million years thought I'd get to work with Brad Pitt. I've seen all of his movies, huge fan, and I think getting to the first time I met him, I was in Jerry's office and we were going through casting, and Brad was on Zoom, so got to meet him in that split second. But then we got to go to a track and I got to drive around with him. I got to learn that he's massively into motorsport and particularly bikes. But then when we went round to track, I realized he's got an underlying ability to really drive, and I know it's a real passion of his to get behind the steering wheel.
Sonny and Ruben were once on the same team. They raced together. They raced in Formula One back in the probably the late 80s into early 90s, certainly in early 90s to mid 90s maybe. And through a tragic accident that Sonny experienced, that was kind of the end of his F1 career, and they seem to have gone different ways. In that amount of time, Javier's part, Ruben, has become very successful in the sport and is now evolved into a team owner. So now he's running his own Apex GP team, but as it stands, they're a last place team, and so he has this harebrained Hail Mary idea to bring back his old friend who never quite got to answer this thing.
And that is when he bets all that he has and he owns into the character of Sonny.
Well, it's more about desperation, really. He's run out of choices.
But because he knows that he has a passion and he has a question still not answered inside of him that he needs to answer.
Because he's tried everything else and exhausted all other possibilities. He's got nothing left but the old friend.
And we're gonna witness how he's gonna really reach to the answer of that through the whole movie.
To play an athlete, I grew up wanting to be a football player, so any way I can get into the world of sports was really big for me in movies. But the no-brainer was, of course, the people that were involved. I love Top Gun, so I really wanted to work with Joe and Jerry, and then I've been a huge fan of Brad and Javier my entire life, and the glorious Kerry
Hughes, I didn't mind if you left me out. I wouldn't have minded at all.
Never. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, I met before I even read the script. So I was the same. It was the team. I was like, oh my God, a big, massive movie, and I might be the female lead. I was like, come hell or high water, this is my part. And then when I read it, it was the same. It was like, oh, this to prep this and like figure all this out and immerse myself in it. I was like, I know exactly what I have to do to pull this off. Like, I think I'm the right person for it.
I mean, it's the only sport I know of where your teammate can be your biggest competition. And that right there is a recipe for drama. So that's kind of where it started. I also like this idea of the story of a veteran driver who maybe had a shot at Formula One when he was younger, but something went wrong, kind of sending him off that path. He thinks he'll never get another chance, and a friend of his reaches out, gives him that opportunity, one last chance to kind of get a Formula One victory. That element to me, I felt like it was that notion of second chances or redemption story was something that I felt like anyone can relate to.
That first weekend, just feeling like we're on hallowed ground, and we are stepping into a sport that is so revered and treated like religion and has such a profound history to it. So it's very humbling, and we just wanted to make sure we didn't get in anyone's way, and that they could focus on what they needed to do, and we could tell our story as embedded into this race schedule. By the end of it, whatever it was, a year and a half later, it just felt like our own backyard. We'd been there so long. We'd had a lot of talks with the guys. Everyone had been really gracious with us, the teams, and we had a lot of laughs, and we felt oddly a part of it.
F1 the movie follows the character of Sonny Hayes, a down and out ex-F1 driver who's been given the opportunity to return to the sport to help a back-of-the-grid fictional team by the name of Apex win their first race. His ex-teammate and team owner, Ruben Cervantes, played by the amazing Javier Bardem, informed Sonny Hayes, played by the spectacular Brad Pitt, that the team has a young phenom, a talented rookie, played by yours truly, called Joshua Pierce, who just lacks the confidence and leadership and maturity to really push the team to the next level. So this is where Brad's character comes in to try and assist the team. The movie follows the remaining 9 races, starting from Silverstone, and essentially follows this back-of-the-grid team trying to accomplish this goal.
It was kind of cool when he came to set, I'm not going to lie. You could tell when Lewis was on set. There was a vibe when Lewis would come and visit. But I might to ask him so many things. It was always very brief, and I was always working when he comes to set, so I couldn't really get to talk to him. There was so many things I wanted to ask him, and hopefully I will get to ask him. But he's such a gentle fella and just so well-mannered as well, and so positive. He's such a positive person. That's what I'm saying. It's like being around people who are really great. It's just like so inspiring. Their attitude is so inspiring.
For 32 years, and I've loved the sport since I was 5 years old. When we came across there was this moment where I got to speak with Joe about this potential project, Joe and Jerry, who asked me to come on board, and I jumped at the opportunity. And to be honest, I'd been really trying to figure out what could be a stepping stone from racing one day, a kind of a side stepping stone of something I'm also really passionate about. And movies is one of those things that I love pretty much as I do racing. And so I got this opportunity to go back in the background where I got to meet up with Jerry and Joe at Jerry's office, the legend himself, and meet with Brad and go through this script. And it was all the big learning process for me. I'm learning how they like to work, all the processes that go in place to build and create a movie.
Lewis said to me, I've never seen a film that captures the experience of being in the car. So that was the goal. Just because of how we shot it, the fact it shot for real, Brad and Damson trained for months to be able to drive these cars. I think audiences are going to get a perspective of what it's like to be in one of these machines. You know, it's the sound, it's what you're seeing, the feeling. The speed was the most important thing. You know, these both of them are traveling, you know, at ridiculous speeds around these tracks, and you know, we used every tool we could to capture that. So you're going to see, you know, camera angles and points of view that you've never seen before, and you know, I think we were able to capture something you can't even get from the broadcast of watching a real race. I mean, we're able to put cameras in places the broadcast can't. We're shooting with real film quality cameras that just give you a different experience from what you're used to seeing on TV. So when it's all said and done, you know, I hope audiences get at least a fraction of what Lewis is experiencing when he's in a Grand Prix.
When Lewis came on, then it was a go, and it was a simple phone call for me. And I remember we sat down that first time, and that's less about racing and more about just sitting with a gem of a human being. There's a reason champions are made, I think, beyond just talent, and it's also how they carry themselves and how they face the world. And he is just a gem and a gent, really. And then you come to the expertise that he has brought to this thing, and he would give us like 12 hours in a day, and we would just sit and just query and throw questions at him, and what about this? And he really helped shape this film. Out to make the most visceral, experiential racing movie of all time, and so the bigger the better. I have yet to see it on IMAX. I can't wait, because apparently it's quite a thrill ride, and I don't doubt it by the shots that he was able to maintain, and develop, invent. What I've seen even on the small screen is pretty damn thrilling. So
the amount of work of so many professionals putting the best they know into every detail is really make it worth it to go to the biggest screen and enjoy every aspect of it.